Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. Today is actually a new series that I'm starting on my channel, and I know this intro is going to be a little bit longer than normal just because I kind of want to explain this series because it is really different from what I normally upload on my channel. I upload beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos, and I will continue to do so on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays like normal, so nothing's changing. So if you're not interested in this series, don't worry, just watch my other videos. But I am actually super into mysteries. I went to university for psychology and I've always been interested in the human mind, but I've also been interested in criminology and all that stuff. So if you're creepy like me, you will love this series. I want to do videos on just mysteries and missing person cases and all of that stuff. I thought I'd start with this case just because I think it's really interesting and really weird and mysterious, and I think you guys would be interested in it because I know I thought it was so crazy when I first heard it. Honestly, this is all I watch on YouTube lately. I've been obsessed. So if you guys actually want to be a part of my next one and you want me to do the case that you guys want to hear about, head over to my Instagram or my other social media, particularly my Instagram because I always see your comments and stuff and I reply to you guys the most there. And just leave a comment on the case you want to see next and maybe I will pick your case and then mention you in my next video. I'm going to be uploading these every other Monday, I believe. I don't want to say every Monday just because it takes time to research, and I do already upload 3 times a week. But if you guys are really liking this series and you guys keep thumbsing it up, I will think about doing it every Monday. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed and hit that bell notification so you're notified on these videos that I will be uploading, especially if you're interested in it. But I thought I'd start off with this case because it's a really unusual one, it's different, it's weird, and it's creepy to think that this is a real case. And that is about the silent twins. So this is about the identical twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons, that were born in 1963. They were actually born in Barbados, but they were soon later moved to a small town off the coast of Wales called Haverford West. And their parents moved them at a young age. The twins never communicated with anyone but themselves. However, when they would communicate with each other, it was not just normal communication. They would talk in bird-like sounds, so no one would understand them except for each other. Like I said, they moved to Haverford West, and this town was predominantly white, and there was a lot of racism still around. So the twins unfortunately were bullied growing up consistently, which further excluded them and just led them to isolate themselves even more. They actually excluded themselves in the end altogether from society, and they pretty much turned to literature as their way to release their pent-up aggression. At the age of 14, doctors and their parents tried to help them with their socialization and tried to get them more involved in society by separating the two, thinking that this is going to help them to be able to build new relationships with people and kind of live their lives separately since they were always just together and communicating with each other. They really thought that this was going to help them. However, this did nothing and made it even worse because when they were separated, they went into a lot of catatonic states, which was pretty much a reduction in their mobility. It led them to more immobility and just these states where they would just not move and do nothing. They actually ended up reuniting them, and this is when they pretty much cut themselves off from society altogether and spent a lot of time in their rooms. All they would do was practice plays, write literature, they would write in their diaries, so they were very excluded from the world except from each other. And it was actually found that when they read into their diaries, they actually were writing about really dark and disturbing things. And a lot of the time it shared, when reading their diaries, it really shed the light that they really had an unhealthy and disturbing relationship between each other, but no one would ever know it. So there's a few passages that I have from their diaries that I want to read to you guys. The first one is from June. Wrote that nobody suffers the way I do, not with the sister, with the husband, yes, with the wife, yes, with the child, yes. But this sister of mine, a dark shadow robbing me of sunlight, is my one and only torment. So it really showed this disturbing relationship that they have between each other. The twins are identical twins, however they are born 10 minutes apart, and June is the one that is the older one. And Jennifer always was very envious towards June. Jennifer always saw June as kind of the better twin when it came to her looks, her brains, her wittiness. So she kind of always envied June, and June always knew that she envied her because inside her diary as well, she wrote, "She wants us to be equal. There is a murderous gleam in her eyes. Dear Lord, I am scared of her. She is not normal. Someone is driving her insane. It is me. So it really just showed their tumultuous relationship that they had between each other. At points, they're also inflicting pain on each other. It wasn't anything super serious, but they were still inflicting pain on each other. So at a point, they ended up putting all their energy into literature and novel writing, and they both have a couple novels that they wrote. However, all the time when they would write novels, it was always about disturbing topics. It was always really twisted. They were writing about really twisted topics. It was never something about happiness or like fun kind of novels. They were always very dark and twisted. You can actually go online and read up on their novels if you guys are interested in that. But the main premise of this is that it was really dark and twisted, and there was always just like, it was about weird topics and just things like that. Their novels, however, didn't do well in the literary world, so they kind of just like, I guess, turned to petty crimes after that. So I guess they weren't getting the attention that they wanted, so they were doing little things like petty theft, they were actually choking each other, and this led them to end up burning a building down to the ground. And this kind of was like the point where it led them to court. So they ended up having to go to court for this arson charge, and the judge deemed them to be mentally unstable. So instead of sending them to jail, he or she ended up sending them to a mental facility. So they were sent to Broadmoor Hospital, and this was a high security mental facility. When they arrived to Broadmoor Hospital, the doctors obviously had to examine them and things like that, and they ended up being deemed as super deeply disturbed and more dangerous than they thought. So it was really crazy. A lot of things that happened in the hospital were super weird because the twins are actually separated on opposite ends of the hospital. Remember that point? They did a lot of strange behavior. One day a twin would eat, the other twin would starve themselves, and then vice versa. Another thing that nurses noticed is that even though they were on opposite ends of the hospital, like I said, the nurses would find them in really distinct poses and be frozen in those poses at the exact same time. So I thought that was really creepy, and the nurses thought it was really weird as well. So they just displayed a lot of weird behaviors, and it was just like they were kind of like attached at one. They were in this hospital for 11 years before the doctors determined that they will be sent to a lower like security clinic. So they were actually sent to Caswell Clinic, or they were supposed to go to Caswell Clinic. So I'm not sure, but Jennifer ended up talking, I don't know if it was to her doctors or nurses, but she ended up saying that she was not going to make it to Caswell Clinic and she was going to die before she made it. And when asked why she said that, Jennifer pretty much then said, because we decided. So it was said that they pretty much made a pact that one of them had to die for the other to live a normal life. So Jennifer was the one that said that she is going to die for June to be able to live that normal life. At this point, when they were getting switched over to Caswell Clinic, they were 31 years old. And while they were on their way, Jennifer ended up passing away. Jennifer was passed away. They rushed her to the hospital where she was declared dead. And the reason for her death was apparently due to an inflammation to her heart, which was super strange because when they examined her body, there was no traces of poison or no traces that it was done due to someone else, which was super strange. So it was kind of like a natural cause. So it ended up just, her heart ended up inflaming and she passed away. When they spoke to June, she said that Jennifer ended up putting her head on June's shoulder and took her last breath and said, "At long last, we're out," which is her last words that she ended up saying before she passed away, which is extremely creepy and crazy to think about. And then she ended up passing away. And after when Jennifer passed away, June lived a normal life. She lived a typical normal life, and it's like nothing ever happened in her life. She actually wanted to get married, she wanted to have children, she wanted to do all of that stuff, and it's just like she kind of like was free at last. And then of course Jennifer was buried, and I believe they put one of her like quotes of poetry on her gravestone. So it's just really crazy that once Jennifer finally passed, June was acting normal. That is all for the case of the silent twins. I hope you guys enjoyed this. A thumbs up if you want more. Let me know what your thoughts are and why you think why you think the sisters were like that, or if you have any thoughts on it. I'd love to read your comments down below. Don't forget to head over to my Instagram if you guys want me to do your case next. As well as don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell if you guys want to be notified every time I upload one of these videos. But that being said, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, or night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!